What did Trump say about Hamas executions? Why is Netanyahu appearing in court now? How did India respond to Trump on Russian oil? Why did Rahul Gandhi criticize PM Modi recently? How did Trump's 50% tariff affect India's exports? Will France's Super Rafale rival America's F-35? Namaste and welcome to Sutra Network, your trusted link to news, views, and stories that matter. US President Donald Trump addressed reports of Hamas executing alleged collaborators in Gaza amid ongoing hostage and prisoner exchanges under a US brokered deal. Trump described the targeted groups as very bad gangs and said he was not bothered much by the executions. When questioned about civilian casualties, he backtracked, stating he is doing research on that matter. The controversial comments came after footage surfaced showing at least 8 Palestinians accused of collaborating with Israel being executed by Hamas fighters. The video, reportedly shared by Hamas, Armed Security Force, shows bound man kneeling before gunfire while onlookers label them collaborators. The footage is not independently verified. Trump compared the situation to gang-related violence in other countries, citing Venezuela, and claiming Hamas has been open about clearing out violent gangs. He suggested that those killed could be gang members or a mix of gangs and civilians. The disturbing visuals have raised concern over Gaza's post-war stability and the broader impact on peace in the region, drawing international attention to the ongoing tensions following the conflict. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu appeared in a Tel Aviv court on October 15, 2025, for his ongoing corruption trial that began in May 2020. He faces charges including bribery, fraud, and breach of trust, notably for allegedly accepting over $260,000 in luxury gifts from billionaires in exchange for political favors and attempting to secure favorable media coverage. Netanyahu denies all allegations, calling the trial a political plot. His court appearance followed the return of hostages from Hamas as part of a U.S. brokered plan led by Donald Trump to end the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza. Netanyahu was accompanied by ministers from his Likud party and faced heckling from protesters outside the court. In addition to domestic legal challenges, Netanyahu is under an arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court for alleged war crimes in Gaza, including attacks on civilians and using starvation as a method of warfare. Israel is not a member of the ICC, so he remains free within the country, though 125 member states could arrest him if he enters the territory. Recently, US President Donald Trump urged Israeli President Isaac Herzog to pardon Netanyahu, sparking controversy over foreign conflicts. As the trial countries, Netanyahu faces significant domestic and international scrutiny. Hours after US President Donald Trump claimed that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had assured him India would soon stop buying oil from Russia, India clarified its position. The Ministry of External Affairs stated that safeguarding the interest of Indian consumers in a volatile energy market is its consistent priority. India emphasized that its energy policies focus on diversifying sources and meeting market conditions rather than following external pressure. India is a significant importer of oil and gas. Our import policies are guided entirely by the objectives of protecting consumers. The statement said. It added that energy cooperation discussions with the US are ongoing, noting that efforts to expand energy procurement have steadily progressed over the last decade. Trump had earlier claimed that Modi assured him there would be no oil purchases from Russia, adding, "You can't do it immediately. It's a process, but it will be completed soon." He also said he did not want to destroy Modi's political career and praised him as a great man and close international ally. India avoided directly accepting or refusing Trump's claim, focusing instead on consumer protection and strategic energy planning. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi targeted Prime Minister Narendra Modi after US President Donald Trump claimed India had assured Washington it would stop buying Russian oil. Taking to X, Gandhi accused Modi of being frightened of Trump and the US, alleging the Prime Minister allowed the US President to decide India's energy policy. He also criticized Modi for repeatedly sending congratulatory messages, despite alleged snubs. Trump had told reporters at the Oval Office that he was unhappy with India's Russian oil purchases and claimed Modi assured him India would halt imports. Trump added that he planned to convince China to follow suit. The issue gained attention after Trump imposed additional tariffs on India, raising the total to 50%. In response, PM Modi emphasized India's commitment to protecting farmers' livelihoods, stating the country would not compromise even at a heavy price. He also reiterated the importance of Make in India and self reliance, stressing that India should act out of pride rather than desperation. Adding to the criticism, Congress General Secretary Jairam Ramesh mocked Modi's past image as a 56-inch chest leader, suggesting his resolve has diminished. He also claimed Trump has repeatedly taken credit for halting India's Operation Sindhu. This controversy has reignited debate on India's energy policy, sovereignty, and global diplomacy. Following the US imposing a 50% tariff on India, the trade crisis between the two countries has deepened. According to the latest report by the Global Trade Research Initiative, Indian exports to the US have fallen sharply by 37.5% over the past 4 months, while exports were $8.8 billion in May 2025, they dropped to $5.5 billion in September, marking the largest monthly decline of 2025. The report states that exports declined consistently every month from June to September, with a total drop of $3.3 billion in value. The sectors most affected include textiles, gems and jewelry, engineering goods, and chemicals. GTRI has warned that this decline could weaken India's competitiveness in its largest export market and emphasize the urgent need to review trade policies. France is preparing to rival the US F-35 with its upgraded Rafale F-5 Super Rafale, expected to enter service by 2030. The Assault Aviation's new jet will feature advanced electronic warfare system, next-generation missiles, and the ability to operate alongside unmanned loyal wingman drones, offering European nations a homegrown alternative to American aircraft. Recent shifts in Europe highlight the growing desire for strategic autonomy. Spain and Portugal have considered F-35 purchases, citing US political uncertainty and over-reliance on American supply chains. The Rafale F-5 aims to provide Europe control over its defense while reducing dependence on Washington. The F-5 will carry hypersonic missiles, integrate with drones, and strengthen Europe's defense capabilities. Though the F-35 remains battle-tested, France's move signals a potential shift in global air power dynamics. Success of the Super Rafale could boost European defense industries, create jobs, and redefine transatlantic defense partnership. Full operational capabilities expected by 2030. US President Donald Trump has hinted that Israel is ready to resume military action in Gaza if Hamas fails to honor the US brokered hostage agreement. Trump claimed Israeli forces are holding back because of him, but are prepared to act decisively, stating, if Israel could go in and knock the crap out of them, they would do that. He emphasized securing the release of 20 living hostages as the top priority. Trump also addressed Hamas' internal crackdown, including executions of alleged collaborators, while noting he is still gathering information on civilian impact. A fragment of a human skull dating back to 2300 BC was discovered on the Whitewater River bank in Fayette County, Indiana. Preliminary radiocarbon tests confirmed the remains are roughly 4,270 years old, coinciding with the era of the Harappan civilization in South Asia. Fayette County Coroner Eddie Richardson called the find remarkable, highlighting its potential to shed light on early human migration in North America. DNA analysis may reveal whether the individual belonged to Native American groups or even pre-Clovis populations, offering insights into migration routes via ice-free corridors or coastal pathways. The discovery also allows researchers to study genetic traits such as sex, hair, eye, and skin pigmentation and compare them with modern Native American tribes to understand genetic continuity or divergence. The University of Indianapolis confirmed the remains are human, while the University of Georgia is conducting more precise dating. Officials are still investigating whether the skull was naturally deposited by the river are originally located at the discovery site, emphasizing the importance of careful archaeological collaboration. Team India, led by Shubman Gill, has finally landed in Perth for the first ODI against Australia on October 19. Following multiple flight delays, star pair Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli were among the first batch to arrive, alongside KL Rahul. Fans at the airport and team hotel had limited access due to tight security. The ODI opener kicks off an 8-match series, including 5 T20Is across Perth, Adelaide, and Sydney. With Gill as the new ODI captain, the series also marks Rohit and Kohli's return to white ball cricket after mid-2025 retirement from Test, sparking speculation about the future in Indian cricket. A strong 6.6 magnitude earthquake struck Indonesia's Papua province on Thursday. The U.S. Geological Survey confirmed the quake occurred at a depth of 70 km and had its epicenter roughly 200 km from Ebipur, a city with over 62,000 residents. Despite the tremor, the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center reported that there is no tsunami warning in effect. Local authorities are monitoring the situation and initial reports suggest limited impact on the region. Residents in affected areas have been urged to stay alert and follow any safety instructions issued by emergency services. Now time for today's piece of information. Do you know India exports software to 90 countries, making it a global IT powerhouse? Its IT services, consulting, and software solutions support businesses, governments, and startups worldwide. Cities like Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Pune, and Gurugram are major tech hubs contributing significantly to employment, GDP, and foreign exchange earnings. For more such global updates, subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon, and do visit our website.